Thank you, Lynn and Robin, for inviting me here. And thanks for that amazing lead-in on customer experience and user experience, because I'm going to be talking a lot about that. So 2 years ago, around September 2010, Twitter was about to have a press event. And this is 4 years into Twitter's life cycle. Twitter's never really done press events up to this point. They usually just blog something on their own blog, and then things happened. It was very organic, and this was the first time Twitter was bringing in press people in an organized event with some mysterious invitation. The press event was for the first major redesign of Twitter, dubbed New Twitter, really the first major change in the website since its inception 4 years prior. So this was happening on a Tuesday, and I was the product manager for the web team and for New Twitter, and I sat down with the team on Monday during our weekly meeting, and I said, okay, understand we've spent a lot of effort on this. We spent 4 months of a lot of sweat, working really hard, and we believe this is the right product. And we believe that this is a good thing for everyone. But this is also the thing that everybody goes to every day, and they are going to hate it because you just changed something. Not because it's bad, but you changed something. Haters gonna hate is what that says there. And I gave them the example of actually how eBay changed their background color from this eggshell. People remember the eggshell eBay in the 90s? They changed that to white background, and there was an uproar where everyone was like, what are you doing? And they didn't even complain about the eggshell to white, like, oh my God, I'm blind. It's actually just, they didn't even know what changed. They just knew something was wrong. And so eBay instantly reverted back to the eggshell, and then gradually, over the course of a month, wrote a simple script to gradually change the eggshell to white. So if you can't even change the background color from eggshell to white, imagine what you're doing if you're changing their communication tool. So I just wanted people to be prepared that their hard work might be slammed. As it turns out, the results, obviously there were a few people that were like, I don't know, I don't like it. But overwhelmingly, it was a lot of people that really, really loved it. And we put in a lot of effort into that. Whoops. And some of it is luck, but some of it is by design. And it's not just by design of the product. It was through design of everything from beginning to end, from how things were built to how things were packaged. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about, is product is everything. We all talk about, as long as you build a good product, then that's the most important thing. And that, I believe that that is true, but everything ties into part of the product, whether that is customer experience, or whether that's the design, or how you even build the company itself that is building the product. Those are all part of the product. And I'm going to talk about a few examples out there, as well as my own experiences with Twitter and experiences with the company I'm currently building, Incredible Labs, where we're building a product named Donna. So in the context of this, of everything that's been talked about in the last day or so, I hear through conversations people talk about things like catching up to the States, 30 years behind the States. So if that's the States, you know, people saying like, oh, we're behind, you know, and I'm just arbitrarily putting this dot here actually. But like the States have thought about things, and now they were doing like focus on technology, and then they were learning about, all the entrepreneurs were learning about how to fundraise, and then all the entrepreneurs were learning about how design is important now. And these days they're learning about lean startup techniques. But the thing is, just as a developing country wouldn't go and pick up a rotary phone, they would go straight to cell phones, right? The development of startups can happen in parallel in terms of the skills and development. What's even better is that development can be beyond looking to, a few people gave examples of things like Wayne Gretzky and skating to where the puck is going to, not where the puck is. So the opportunity here is, as entrepreneurs here and VCs here and incubators and education systems are thinking about what do we need to do to make this ecosystem thrive, you can think about all the things that are already being done in the States and saying how do we replicate and integrate those. But you can also look at the things that even the companies in the Valley are only just learning now and start building those into the DNA here, right now. And I'm going to talk about what some of those dots might be. And I'm going to talk about it from inside out. So starting from how you build the company and how you build the team and the process, all of those things actually reflect out into the product. For New Twitter, we spent 4 months in one conference room because to us, the most important thing was trust in the team, was communication between the team, and transparency. So that's how we structured it. Not everyone structures this way, and some companies are structured in a distributed fashion. We were also very focused on feedback loops and focusing on the details of design. So we had Ev, the then CEO of Twitter, sitting in the room with us for those 4 months. I won't talk too much about the smell that happened from the room. But that's just one way of doing things. With Google, we all have probably heard of the 20% time, where you can spend 20% of your time or 1 day a week on whatever project you want. And this culture is so pervasive that it had real impact on the product. And in fact, real impact on creating new products like Gmail, Google Talk, and Reader are all products that came from their 20% culture. So just by virtue of how they built and structured their company, that resulted in how the kinds of products that were coming out. Facebook likes to talk about move fast and break things. And it's true, they do this. And it reflects out on the product. And you see that they move so fast for a company of their size. It's absolutely stunning. And then they also break things, including the user's trust. Right? So like at Twitter, it was almost an opposite approach of like being very thoughtful of every detail. Neither of these are wrong. The fact is you have to think about how you want to do things and what the ripple effects of that are. How you build this company, how you build a team will impact what comes out on the other side. It doesn't matter which one you choose as long as you're actually thinking about it. And it goes into even a micro level of how are you project managing? So, and how are you managing the teams? So this is a quote about 20% time and such from a Google person. He said, I fired off an email to the Reader team. He wanted to build a shortcut, to add shortcuts. And the team got back and said it was really easy to just add it himself. And they were right. And once the change had been reviewed, it went live. So with Google, one of the things that is really impressive is all the source trees are easily accessible by anyone, even people not on the team. And they can check it out, do something, check it in, ask for it to be reviewed by the team, and the team will go like, oh yeah, that's great, thanks, and then push it live. And that's with 10, 20,000 people. They just have this open approach of, and this hacker mentality where it's like, you think something is broken? Go fix it. And that, again, is structuring the teams and communication channels so that the product output is very fast in iteration. You can project manage and impact how the product comes out, whether you choose to be very structured and this happens first, then this happens, or this happens. Or what we did at New Twitter was we had this thing, which is a tree map, and each red box represents a feature in New Twitter. The size of it represents how much effort it is, and the color is it done or not? So rather than be really strict about this week we're going to do this week we're going to do this, I looked at the team and I was like, there's a bunch of cowboys on this team. There are people with very, very distinct personalities. Some people are very rigorous, and some people were just like, I kind of want to work on these different things. But we needed everyone to be going towards the same goal. This, turning all the red boxes green, that is the goal. So every week we go, which red boxes do you guys want? And we were always aware of our progress and which things were outstanding and which were the largest pieces that still needed to be done. Going outward, Ariel talked about customer service, and Zappos cares so much about customer service that it's actually in their logo, powered by service. And this is an example of how the internal company and the culture is pushed all the way out, right up to the brand. How you treat the customers is part of Zappos' core culture. So I don't know how well you guys know the lore around Zappos customer service. One of the stories is how they will help their customers however they can, and Tony Hsieh would call to ask for pizza delivery places, and they would actually go and find pizza places for him, and not knowing that it was him calling. Another more real story that wasn't manufactured was that somebody was in Las Vegas in Mandalay Bay, and I forget, for whatever reason, they needed a pair of shoes. They had to have a pair of shoes, and they lost a pair or something like that, and couldn't find their size online. So they called customer support, and somebody, well, Zappos is based in Vegas, so somebody actually went to a physical store, found their size, bought the shoes, and brought it to Mandalay Hotel. And the thing is, they could easily have said, sorry, it's just you don't have your size, and that would have been fine, and nobody's going to say Zappos sucks for that. However, I'm up here telling you about the story now because Zappos did that. Right? So that is still a part of the product. It's not just buying shoes on a website. This part, this customer service, these stories are a part of that product. And it's so pervasive in the Valley now, this customer support aspect, that the title of customer support has some new titles now. So at Automatic, where they make WordPress, they're called happiness engineers. There's a company that makes a product called 1Password, and my co-founder actually just sent an email to our team hey, I got this great email from 1Password guys, and it's from their positive experience architect. And it was a customer support thing. It's normally not something that's interesting to talk about. And yet, here, people are talking about the product. So speaking of the brand and the voice, we'll talk a little bit about how you communicate. So this is a Wired article where they're talking about Siri and Google Now. Siri is, of course, the voice assistant on the phone, on iPhones, and then Google Now is sort of an equivalent on the Android. And the author says, which brings me back to my kid. She keeps striking out with Siri again and again, but maybe once or maybe twice, Siri heard her correctly, replied, even just to say hello. And because of that, she loves Siri, loves it. And so she tries again and again and again. For everything that Siri lacks, it has far more personality than offerings from Google or Microsoft. And thanks to that, we're probably more likely to forgive Siri's faults. So this is an example of a product that's actually, by features, inferior to Google Now. And yet, because of that emotional connection, because Siri has a voice and is sort of human, people are more willing to forgive and want to use this product more and wants to give it another try and give it another chance. And this is the approach that we've taken with our product, which is also a personal assistant. Very different from Siri, but our product is called Donna. And Donna is an assistant that anticipates what you need and looks at where you are, looks at your calendar, and looks at traffic and says, Kevin, you need to leave now to get to that meeting on time because there's traffic and it's raining where you're going, you need an umbrella, here are the directions. So that's Donna. That could easily be just an application without any name, but we chose to use Donna. And we did this very, very deliberately. We talked to some people who had built other products that had names and found that people were actually responding as though they were human, not really believing that the product was human, but still automatically responding in such a way. And there was an emotional connection. And we understood that our product might be wrong a few times. And you're more likely to forgive Donna because she's named Donna than some abstract product name. So once we realized that this product would be a person, we thought deeply about everything around that. What does that mean? So one of the things it means is that Donna's logo is going to be her signature. So we hired a calligrapher and had her try a lot of different typefaces, ending with this logo. The other part is that we refer to Donna as she. She tells you to leave. What does Donna do? Oh, she looks up your directions and looks at your calendar. And we thought about things like, well, do you have a Donna and then I have a different Donna? It's like, no, that seems weird. So Donna is one super assistant that that can help everybody. Donna is amazing. Donna is like M from James Bond, who's aware of all the agents and is strong, is not submissive, not a flirty kind of assistant. She's like, Bond, you need to be over here by this time, and there's traffic on the 101. And Donna's users are Donna's clients, and people have Donna as an assistant. So we thought about all these things, and all of these things help us define what the product looks and feels like, and it helps us with how we present Donna to everyone else. So this page isn't live yet. If you were to go to Donna's site right now, you get an older version, but it's essentially the same, which is a typewriter where you are writing to Donna and saying, hey, I've heard you're really amazing. When are you available to start as an assistant? So really starting to carry forward that voice of I am working with this person. As I was saying before, it's not just it's not just external. How you build internally also is important. So we carried this brand right into every effort of ours. So this is recruiting, where we were at a Stanford PhD career fair, and my co-founder and another guy were wearing suits, and we had this little stand with an old typewriter, an old lamp, and over on the far end, those envelopes, those are the brochures you would normally get about a product, except it's a letter from Donna to the person that just came in to say like, hey, it was very nice to meet you. And it was so popular that Apple's booth, a few over, all of them kept coming over and taking pictures of the booth. And we, in fact, hired our first data scientist from this career fair. And data science up in the Valley is an incredibly competitive space. So from recruiting to everything we do, even with employees internally. So we moved offices in September, in late August. And on the day that everyone was working from home so that the movers could move everything, I sent out this, which is a letter to their physical addresses, because I knew everyone was working from home. And it's an invitation from Donna to say, hey, to celebrate our move, I've arranged for a breakfast at the Four Seasons, or is it Four Seasons? Yeah, it was actually at the Four Seasons. Breakfast at the Four Seasons. And that was also to create an experience of all of us are going to dress up, go to Four Seasons, have breakfast, and everyone would experience the new office together rather than like people trickling in. And so even within the company, we're building this experience, and it's part of the product. And it helps ingrain what is Donna to everyone that works on Donna. And it starts even further back than that. Our company name is Incredible Labs. And so when we give an offer to somebody, to a new hire, we give them a package, and we give them a personalized gift based on the hobbies that we found out about them. Part of our interviewing process, we had to specifically be like, what kind of gift are we going to get this person? And so depending on the person, we got them a different gift that they can keep, whether they sign this offer letter or not. And the offer package says, you are incredible the moment you open it. It's actually developed to be even better looking than this. This was our very first offer letter, but now we have like a whole package and bow and everything. So that's the front end. On the other end of the spectrum, when you think about Apple products, you're like, oh yeah, that is a great example of a company that understands everything is product, right? Marketing, the product itself, everything about it. And one of the biggest things about Apple is they've managed to make unboxing an experience. Before that, nobody had even heard of that. Opening the box for the product was an experience. The thing is, that can still apply to software and to websites. So with Twitter, we thought about this. What happens, how do you unbox a brand new website? You could do a product tour or things like that. But we thought about things like, okay, so I'm coming into Twitter. I go twitter.com, enter. What am I trying to do? I'm either wanting to read some tweets, or I have something in my mind that I wanted to tweet right now. And the last thing I want to see is a completely different design that I have no idea how to navigate, because I came here and I was about to do something. And so when we first launched, we actually, instead of putting that there, we put a bar at the top that said, hey, there's a new version of Twitter. And whenever you're ready, you can go and try it out. Before this point, I don't want to take too much credit for it, but I definitely noticed an increase in this style of releasing redesigns after the fact. So Vimeo did this. I'm DJ, so I go to this site called Beatport a lot, and I saw more and more examples of this, like instead of boom, here's your redesign. And actually around the same time, just before Twitter, like Dig had that happen. It's like, here's your redesign, and everyone's like, ah! So really easing them in so that they're in the mood for, okay, I'm going to check it out now. And even the wording that we chose was distinctive. We said, welcome to, the code name was New Bird for a while. But notice, like, we wanted people to give feedback on this new design. And we're like, well, how do we do that? And we chose not to say, give us feedback, because then you're in the mode of, oh, I'm giving feedback. I'm watching. I'm going to give feedback. Right? Instead, it's welcome to new Twitter. And we said, you know what? We'll use a hashtag. We'll give them the hashtag, and they can give their feedback on our platform. And it's not going to be in the mindset of giving feedback. It's just there, and they'll naturally know about it. I think, actually, I heard Anne from Floodgate last night at dinner mention that they're investors in this company. This is Lyft, L-Y-F-T. It's a car-sharing service in San Francisco right now, where if you own a car and you are registered as a driver after background checks and whatever else, you are a driver for them. And then you have an app. Somebody else opens the Lyft app and says, I need a ride. Here's where I am right now. And one of the drivers would be like, oh, OK, I'm going to go pick you up. And then at the end of the ride, you donate. So if you've heard of Uber, it's like Uber, but with your own cars. And one of the things is they're not the only one. There's at least there's Sidecar, and then there's at least one other active in San Francisco. But Lyft has pink mustaches on their car. And you're just going, what is the deal with those pink mustaches? And when you get in a pink mustache car, the driver gives you a fist bump. And when you get out, the driver gives you a fist bump. And when you get out and you're like deciding how much to donate, because it's a donation scheme since it's not like a taxi service, it suggests an amount, and it's got this little car on a balloon, and if you go down, it frowns. And if you go up, there's fireworks. So you're like, oh, I'm giving this person fireworks. So Lyft as an app, if you look at it compared to, say, like Sidecar, there's almost no differentiation because it's just an app where you say, here's where I am, and the driver goes, there's a passenger over there, I'll take it, and that's it. That would be the product. But with Lyft, the product is so much more, and you're talking about the pink mustaches. You've never been in a Lyft, and you're still going, what's the pink mustaches? You're talking about the fist bumps. There are people that get into the habit of, like, they get in, and sometimes the drivers forget, and they're like, where's my fist bump? The fist bump is part of the product, and that costs nothing to do. It's just a clever thing, and it sets a mood for everybody. You can also design your product when it comes to the business end, to how payments happen, how you charge people, how you set the copy around that. So with Uber, which is the black limo version of Lyft, when they send you the receipt, so with Uber, first of all, they're also about an experience, right? It's a black car, somebody opens the door, you get in, and you get out, and you don't even have to worry about paying. And more importantly, you don't have to worry about tipping, because all of that is just included, and it takes away all these weird dynamics. And it's just a fantastic experience. But they didn't have to do this, where the yellow part, discounts, I'm going to round down so that your bill is always a round number. Right? They didn't have to do that at all. And they probably would have still been a successful service. But it's nice, $15. It's like, oh, that's nice. I don't know how much in aggregate they end up losing from that. But I look at that and I'm like, that's nice of you. Thank you. And speaking of Uber, they're very good at marketing and making marketing part of their product. Marketing could be putting things on billboards, putting ads on Facebook or Google. It could be writing blog posts. But with Uber, their marketing is around their product. It's in line with their product. So one day, Uber hired all the ice cream trucks in the city, and then in their app, you could ask for an ice cream truck to show up so that you could buy ice cream. And so companies were doing that. I tried really hard to get an ice cream truck. And lots of people in San Francisco like ice cream trucks. But that's the thing. It's like it showed off what Uber is, but in a different frame. So it was a marketing gimmick, really, except it was exactly in line with their product, and it became a part of their product. And going back to the unboxing piece, so with New Twitter, when we launched and we had the press people come in, we could have shown a product demo of this is how the product works, and here's the features of the product. But we wanted to do more. We wanted to represent what Twitter was becoming, this emotional communication platform, and still show off what New Twitter was about. And so we created this video, which this type of video, I think we're seeing more of now. But this was the video, and just a small little trivia. That clock says 9:13, and we'll switch to 9:14, and the launch date of New Twitter was September 14th. So the product is everything from customer support, the process, the culture of the company, the business end, and of course the design and the engineering. When I think about that, I think about this quote from Ed Catmull, the president of Pixar. And he talked about the different aspects of making a fantastic movie. And there's the animators, there's the modelers, there's technology, there's business, there's the storytellers. And he said, when any one of these individual groups wins, everybody loses. So what we need to think about is building a skill set of entrepreneurs and companies where all of these are balanced, not necessarily through one person, but they're balanced in the company, and all of these aspects are being thought about. And when they are, you're much more likely, as we've seen from yesterday's themes, you're much more likely to create a boiling frog, thunder, lizard, giant elephant, not rabbit trampling creature. Thank you.